Wine enthusiasts, gather round. Today, we're diving into the world of wine pairing pitfalls. While the right food can elevate your wine experience to heavenly heights, the wrong choice can turn your elegant evening into a flavor disaster. Let's explore 10 foods that should never, ever grace your plate when you're savoring a glass of your favorite vino. 1. Chocolate. Chocolate, the sweet temptress that captivates our taste buds. But beware, wine lovers. This decadent treat is a notorious wine killer. The rich, sweet flavors of chocolate overwhelm the delicate nuances of most wines, leaving your palate confused and your wine tasting flat. Red wine enthusiasts, you're particularly at risk here. The tannins in your beloved Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot clash violently with chocolate's sweetness, creating a bitter, unpleasant taste that lingers long after the last bite. Even white wines aren't safe. Their subtle fruit notes are completely overpowered by chocolate's intense flavors. If you absolutely must indulge your chocolate craving while sipping wine, opt for a dessert wine like port. But proceed with caution. This pairing is not for the faint of heart. 2. Asparagus. Green, nutritious, and a total wine wrecker. That's asparagus for you. This veggie contains compounds that can make your wine taste metallic and just plain weird. It's like suddenly drinking your wine from an old tin can. Not exactly the sophisticated experience you were aiming for. White wine lovers, you're especially vulnerable here. Asparagus can turn your crisp Sauvignon Blanc into a bizarre, vegetal nightmare. And red wine? Forget about it. The bitter notes in asparagus combined with red wine's tannins create a taste so unpleasant, you might swear off vegetables altogether. If you're planning an asparagus dish, it's best to leave the wine in the cellar. Opt for a refreshing sparkling water instead. Your taste buds will thank you. 3. Vinegar-based salad dressings. Salads are healthy, but vinegar-based dressings are your wine's arch nemesis. The high acidity in vinegar completely throws off the wine's balance, making it taste flat and lifeless. It's like your wine suddenly lost its personality. Tragic. Red wine drinkers, this combo is particularly disastrous for you. The robust flavors you love in your Syrah or Zinfandel are reduced to mere shadows of their former glory when paired with a vinegary dressing. White wine isn't much better off. Its crisp, refreshing qualities are dulled to oblivion. If you must have a salad with your wine, opt for a light, lemon-based dressing instead. Your wine will retain its character, and your salad will still be delicious. 4. Spicy foods. Spice lovers, brace yourselves. Your favorite fiery dishes are terrible wine companions. Spicy foods numb your taste buds, making it nearly impossible to appreciate the subtle flavors in your wine. It's like trying to listen to a whisper at a rock concert. Futile and frustrating. Red wines with high tannin content are especially vulnerable. The spice amplifies the tannins, making your wine taste bitter and harsh. Even white wines suffer. They're delicate fruit. Flavors are completely overshadowed by the heat. If you're determined to enjoy both spicy food and wine, reach for a slightly sweet Riesling or Gewürztraminer. These wines can help soothe the burn, but don't expect to fully appreciate their complexities. 5. Garlic and onion heavy dishes. Garlic and onions might be the foundation of many delicious recipes, but they're the wrecking ball of wine pairings. Their pungent flavors and aromas completely overpower the nuances in your wine, leaving you with a glass of something that used to be wine. White wine enthusiasts, you're in the danger zone here. The delicate floral and fruit notes in your Chardonnay or Pinot Grigio are no match for the powerful punch of garlic and onions. Red wines fare slightly better, but even their bold flavors can be simplified and dulled by these aromatic bullies. If you're cooking with garlic and onions, consider roasting them to mellow out their intensity, and maybe save that special bottle of wine for another night. 6. Pickled foods. Pickles, sauerkraut, kimchi. These tangy treats might be delicious, but they're absolute wine destroyers. The strong vinegar flavors in pickled foods clash aggressively with wine, leaving your palate in a state of confused chaos. Red wine drinkers. This pairing is particularly problematic for you. The acidity in pickled foods fights with the tannins in your wine, creating a harsh, unpleasant taste. White wines don't fare much better. Their crisp acidity becomes muddled and loses all definition. If you're a pickle fanatic, it's best to enjoy them separate from your wine drinking experience. Your taste buds will appreciate the break between these strong flavors. 7. Strong cheeses. Now, this might come as a surprise. Cheese and wine are often touted as the perfect pair, but strong, pungent cheeses can be wine's worst enemy. Blue cheese, extra sharp cheddar, or aged Gouda can completely overpower the flavors in your wine. White wine lovers, you're especially at risk here. The delicate notes in your Sauvignon Blanc or Pinot Grigio don't stand a chance against the powerful flavors of strong cheese. Even robust red wines can struggle. Their complex flavors become simplified and one-dimensional. If you're planning a cheese board for your wine night, stick to milder cheeses like brie or fresh mozzarella. Save the stinky stuff for a beer tasting instead. 8. Raw fish. Sushi lovers, we've got bad news. Raw fish and wine are not friends. The delicate flavors of raw fish can make wine taste metallic and unpleasant. It's like someone snuck a penny into your glass when you weren't looking. Red wine is particularly unsuitable here. The tannins in red wine react badly with the fish oils, creating a harsh, fishy aftertaste that lingers unpleasantly. White wines fare slightly better, but even they can struggle with the subtle flavors of raw fish. If you're having a sushi night, consider pairing it with sake or a light beer instead. Your wine will thank you by not tasting like a mouthful of copper. 9. Ice cream. Ice cream might be the perfect end to a meal, but it's the beginning of the end for your wine. The cold temperature and high fat content of ice cream numb your taste buds and coat your mouth, making it impossible to properly taste your wine. Red wine suffers the most here. The cold ice cream lowers the temperature in your mouth, muting the complex flavors and aromas of your Merlot or Cabernet. White wines don't fare much better. Their crisp acidity becomes dull and lifeless. If you're craving something sweet with your wine, opt for a fruit-based dessert at room temperature. Your wine will remain the star of the show. 10. Coffee. Coffee might be your morning savior, but it's your wine's evening nemesis. The strong, bitter flavors of coffee completely overwhelm the subtle notes in your wine. It's like trying to hear a flute solo during a heavy metal concert. Pointless and slightly painful, both red and white wines suffer equally here. The intense flavors of coffee mask all the nuances you love in your wine, leaving you with a glass of grape juice. Is that what wine tastes like without its personality? If you need a caffeine fix, enjoy your coffee well before your wine time. Give your palate a chance to reset before you uncork that bottle. Now that we've covered the wine pairing disasters to avoid, let's talk about how to elevate your wine experience. Remember, wine tasting is an art, not a science. While these guidelines can help you avoid major pitfalls, the most important rule is to trust your own palate. Experiment with different combinations. Sometimes, an unexpected pairing can lead to a delightful surprise. Don't be afraid to break the rules occasionally. That's how new flavor trends are born. Pay attention to the weight of both your food and your wine. Generally, lighter foods pair well with lighter wines, while heavier dishes call for more robust wines. A delicate sole fillet might sing with a light Pinot Grigio, while a hearty steak demands a bold Cabernet Sauvignon. Consider the sauce as much as the main ingredient. A chicken dish with a cream sauce might pair beautifully with a buttery Chardonnay, while the same chicken in a tomato sauce could call for a light red like Chianti. Don't forget about regional pairings. Often, wines from a particular region pair wonderfully with the local cuisine. There's a reason why Chianti goes so well with Italian food, or why Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand pairs perfectly with the local seafood. Temperature matters. Serving wine at the right temperature can make a world of difference. Generally, red wines are best served slightly below room temperature around 60 to 65 F. while white wines should be chilled around 50 to 55 F. Invest in good glassware. The right glass can enhance the aroma and flavor of your wine significantly. Wide bold glasses are great for reds, while narrower glasses work well for whites. And finally, remember that wine is meant to be enjoyed. Don't stress too much about perfect pairings. The best wine is the one you like, paired with food you enjoy, shared with people you love. So, wine enthusiasts, armed with this knowledge, go forth and explore the wonderful world of wine. Avoid these pairing pitfalls, but don't be afraid to experiment and find your own perfect combinations. After all, every palate is unique, and your perfect pairing might be someone else's disaster. Cheers to your wine journey. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll be back with more tantalizing wine tips in our next video. Until then, may your glass always be half full.